Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin. Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin.
Woke from my sleep last night, all sweaty with quite a fright. Looked to see if you're next to me, somehow I knew you wouldn't be. Seems that my dreams only come true. What are my dreams all about you? Nightmares are all you bring to me. I keep searching for you, 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 I keep searching for you. Lonely days and sleepless nights. This doesn't seem so right. It leaves me wanting more than I did before. Seems that my dreams
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Thriller Bitcoin. I got Tristan Beach in the motherfucking house. Tristan, is it weird to be on this pod?
No, not at all.
No?
It's been a while though, because I remember the first one that we did when I first got a Pleb Lab. I was horrible. It was horrible. You remember that?
I remember you like being here. I'm trying to move the camera. Can you move over a little bit this way? Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
Yeah. I remember you like being like really nervous, dude.
Yeah, that's my first podcast. Can you blame me?
Do you feel like we put a lot on you in the early days, like in December and January? Like we were trying to make you something like.
Well, I think you did, but at the same time, I think I needed it because had you not done that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Really? But
at the same time, what you guys have done is like maybe like 1/4 of the total contribution to, I guess, where I'm at today.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
That's a amazing thing to say. Yeah, I just remember you coming in December, dude, and like you were like wide-eyed, really believed in Bitcoin, and I was like, who is this guy? But even then, I remember when I first met you, you had made like such a big impression on me.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
I remember the day we met.
Do you remember it?
I do. Super brought me into the office. I was in Figma working on the mock-up of the MVP. And you like walked by and Super's like, hey, this is Car, Tristan. You're like, oh, hey, what's up? Kept walking. And then you came back, you grabbed a drink or something. I don't know. And Super's like, look what we're working on. It's called Lightning Escrow. I was like, oh, cool. What is this? And like, I gave you like the pitch at the time. I like kind of showed you what it was. And you're like, wait, what's your name again? And like, you got really interested when I was building all this stuff.
Really fast.
And then like, I gotta call Kyle. I'm like, who's Kyle? You're just like, you gotta meet him. And then, you like went off for a second. And then here comes this big meaty dude. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh, you hadn't seen him before?
No, I wasn't. I haven't. No. And, I got nervous because I was like, it's kind of intimidating at first.
Who, Kyle?
Yeah. Cause like he sat down, he's like, all right, listen, this is Pleb Lab. I want you in. And, now I realize it's just a teddy bear with muscles. That's all he really is. But
yeah, that's what it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that first day you were like, man, you seemed so much younger back then, dude. But I remember like meeting you and seeing this like fire inside you. And I remember thinking, I remember asking you questions and I was like, where do you get this from? Do you remember that? Like I was asking you like, well, maybe I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I need to find out where he gets this like inner fire from. But you had that from like the first time I met you, that first day. And I was like, I kept asking you questions, like seeing where that stemmed from. Was it out of competitiveness? Was it out of like pure, sheer confidence? Was it like what was it? And I realized now at the time you were just, you had been creating companies since you were like 16 illegally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I didn't have an LLC,
a little bit, but you know what I mean? Like you've been creating companies. So yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from necessity because when I first moved here, I couldn't find an entry level tech job because I was studying to be a data scientist on my own, and I was pretty good at what I did. But the thing was that every single data scientist job needed like a master's or a bachelor's, whatever it is. And I got interviews. I
remember you said that IBM or something.
IBM, Oracle, but no one wanted to hire me. So
dumbasses.
After job application, there was like number 800, 700. I was like, okay, obviously this is not working. I got to start something. And before I moved here, when I worked in real estate, I remember how awful, mortgages were in terms of like, escrow. And man, it's just so slow, just slow process. And looking back, it's amazing that no one has like updated this industry. Here we go again, talking about the issue of escrow, but it's fine. Amazing. It's like one of those industries where you would think that someone would do something about it today, but no one's done anything about it. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, dude. I remember even the first ABC you did, and you went on stage, and everybody was like blown away by all the stuff that you had thrown on the presentation. And I remember people were like, "Wait, what? Like what?" But I looked to you. Like I remember when we did that. Was it that first Thursday of January?
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
It felt like yesterday, dude. It was like 5 months ago.
It was like 5-6 months ago. But dude,
man,
that kicked off like the Austin Bitcoin kind of ramp up, or at least the last breath before the bear market. I think like you really kicked it off, bro.
Thank you.
Here in Austin, you really did, man. That was the first meetup that we had in Austin. It was like everybody was still getting over the holidays, and then you just came out with like an uppercut right on the stage, and I was just like, boss.
You gave me too much credit, Car.
Huh?
You gave me too much credit.
Dude, but it was interesting though, because that whole Christmas you were just working the whole Christmas. I remember bothering you and like working with you late into the night, like just to get that presentation up to par with like the rest of the Pleb people. And I remember you were just working so hard, man. I was very proud of you. I don't know if I can say that, but I was very proud of you. And
yeah, I remember when we did a test run with everybody else, and I did horribly. And then Kyle's like, "All right, you need to grab your nuts and just fucking like hold them and let that shit hang." I was like, "All right." So
did you even know what that meant?
No, but now I do. Now I do.
You were just a
can't.
kid. Yeah.
You don't know what it means until you actually do it, right?
Yeah.
So I did like a lot of meditating on like what he said, and I grabbed my nuts and I gave a great presentation to you on the next practice run we did.
Yeah.
And you cried.
You cried.
It was hilarious.
I'm an emotional girl.
I was like 1/3 of the way through with the presentation. I look over. He's like, I'm like, "You okay, Car?" He's like,
I was so proud of you. I was so proud because like the week before you were just, oh man, it was so bad.
Yeah, it was a mess.
But then within that week we were just working really hard, and to see where you're at now, it's just
thank you. I
amazing,
appreciate that.
Dude.
Yeah, it's been a journey, man.
It has, right?
Journey. Yeah.
What did you think about Miami?
Miami was fun, and I'm not sure if I'll pay for another ticket for the Bitcoin conference.
Really? Why?
Well, because right at the end, towards right before we went, it's like anyway, right before we actually attended the Bitcoin conference, everybody I knew was like, "Oh, you need an extra ticket? I got you. I have a place to stay. I got you." But the thing was, I already had booked an Airbnb and bought a ticket months beforehand.
Yeah, because you were like literally trying to. Yeah. So you've been trying to plan.
Yeah. Because I'm not getting into that, but
yeah, we don't have to get into that.
No. Car's lack of planning is astounding. But anyway,
no, I plan.
I'm just fucking with you.
I plan. It's just like I plan closer to it.
Yeah. Anyway, but this year, 23 is gonna be in Amsterdam. Did you know that?
Wait, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Who told you that?
The Bitcoin Twitter.
No, I thought that was just this year.
That's the conference.
Yeah, there's a conference.
23? No, I could be totally wrong.
No, there's a conference happening this year in October.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, if that was next year, oh, dude, that would be huge.
I could be wrong, but I'm 65% sure. But anyway, besides the point.
No, I think that's this year. I gotta look it up. Let me see.
Anyway, if it is in Amsterdam for 23, that's gonna be a lot of fun because I've never actually been outside the US. Funny enough.
Really?
Speaking of, how was your trip in Mexico?
What? It was good. I'm trying to find that Bitcoin BTC conf. Here, where is it? Bitcoin. Is it Bitcoin Mag? Yeah, there it goes. Bitcoin Magazine. Yeah, Bitcoin conference. I don't think they've announced it yet.
I saw.
Oh, right there. Bitcoin 2023.
See, I told you.
Date and time announcing soon. Pre-order tickets, well pass. Yeah, they don't have a date. They don't have a place yet. Right. It's gonna be in Miami, bro. It's gonna be in Miami. There's no way they can.
Let me find it real quick. Hold on. LDL tweeted about it.
No, I think that's the one that's coming up this year. There's no way they're gonna do it. There's no way they're not gonna do it in Miami next year. They have everything set up perfectly.
Of course, I don't have a connection right now, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway,
I could be wrong, but I just seriously doubt. Because think about it, like where else would they have it? Austin? We're too small. It's too small. It's too small for a Bitcoin.
This is average.
Not for that big. Not for something like that.
You get the joke?
No, I didn't get the joke. Are you going to go to the one in Amsterdam?
If it is for 23, then yeah. Will I pay for a ticket? Probably.
But what
not.
about the one later this year? Are you going to go to that one?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure yet. Because, from October to November, I'll be in California.
Yeah. So tell me about that. So that was what happened. So basically you went to Miami, you did the speaking there, and then you started working on Lightning Escrow. And then after that, you had the Draper pitch, which was last Thursday?
It was like 2 weeks ago, dude.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so after Miami, I had somebody reach out to me on Telegram, and I'm not gonna say her name, but she was telling me about this program called Draper X. And I was like, this is obviously a scam. Like, there's no way this is real. There's no way someone's reaching out to me for, Tim Draper's program. And I looked into it, and sure enough, Draper X is a real thing, and I'll be at the first cohort. But it's just weird because they reached out to me, and, not just me either, but, Michael and Ben Price and everybody else. So I was like, okay, I'll apply and see what happens. And sure enough, it was an amazing program. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
They had some great mentors there. I learned a lot. They put me with a lot of investors.
Yeah.
Really, truly enjoy the program. And the team there are also great. But what I didn't know is that when you graduate the program, there's pitch day. Okay, that I knew. But right before we started the pitch day, Tim Draper himself was talking about, at the end of this pitch, we're going to give away 4 scholarships for Draper University. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was I never would have expected that from him.
Yeah.
So, anyway, pitch day ensued. I did a pretty good job.
How did you do in pitch day? Because I heard like differentiating. I can't say that word.
Differentiating.
Yeah. Stories. Like Kyle told me he did really good. You did really good. And then I heard somebody else say like, it was okay. And then you told me it was like really good because Drapes came up to you and gave you the fist bump.
I forgot to say that. I forgot to say what's up, Drapes. And I'm so mad.
What's up, Drapes?
Yeah.
Drapes.
But I will say in person when I meet him. Anyway, so I think I had, not to jerk myself off here.
Whoa.
But I think I had.
Hopefully you don't.
I think I had the best
There's
pitch.
people watching back here.
I think I had the best pitch out of, the 11 people there. Besides Ben. I think him and I were neck and neck.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Because
the price, man?
Yeah.
The price is right, man?
Yeah. But that said, Tim Draper was the only one to compliment my pitch.
What did he say?
Everybody.
Publicly?
He's like, publicly. He's like, wow, great job. And then I had one of my mentors message me saying great job. And then Elise Colleen DM me on Twitter saying it was a good job of a pitch. So I thought it was really
nice
sweet of her. Yeah.
Elise is really sweet.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's really cool.
But yeah, I had a great pitch, I feel like. And, after that, I messaged one of the assistants who's in charge of coordinating everything within the program. And I was like, hey, just letting you know, I would love the opportunity to attend the Draper University. And she's like, cool. I hope you get it. I think you would be a very, valid candidate, I guess is the word. And, the next couple of days were pretty daunting because I didn't know whether or not I would get it. But sure enough, I got it and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, dude, congratulations,
Thank
man.
you. I appreciate that.
To see where you've gone when we first met you And then, yeah, dude, to see all that kind of go, see where you are now is kind of, I'm just really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Really proud of you. Like as a brother, as a younger brother, I would say, just really proud of you.
You're older than me, Car.
I'm really old. No, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just like I've always looked at you like a younger brother, just like trying to figure it out. And I just try to, at least me personally, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I know me personally, I've always tried to like give you as much wisdom as I have. And hopefully you take some of it and can make it your own. But yeah, dude, I'm just so proud of you, man.
Thanks, Car. I appreciate that.
Yeah, brother. That's kind of cool.
Thank you. But
did Drapes, did he email you personally or did he DM you or anything?
No. So
did you meet his son?
I didn't meet him over Zoom, but I'm going to assume that he was there because we got a list of everybody who was there.
I feel like you would get along with his son.
Probably.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But the program itself looks really cool. And a lot of it is like communicating with venture capitalists to raise money. And the majority of people who have gone through the program actually raise money afterwards.
Boss.
I think it's like 60% of people that go through the program. Again, could be totally wrong. But nonetheless, the total amount of venture capital raised through the program is like $700 million, which is not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not too bad for a bunch of fiat.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting.
Do they just do it? Do they just do Bitcoin now? Or are they still dabbling in like ApeCoin and shit like that?
They say they're fully Bitcoin focused, but at the same time, I guarantee you there's at least a couple projects in there that are not Bitcoin
It's okay.
focused.
They're not watching this.
It's
there's no way.
I don't care about that.
I mean, there's no
I'm
way
just
they're
being
watching this. This is an unknown podcast.
The other day, they're there to make money, and they know that there's money in crypto projects because they're going to dump later. So they're trying to catch it now.
It's kind of one of those things where you see that time
know.
and time again, right? Where you have these very smart, intellectually capitalized VCs, right? Don't want to call anybody out. They go and like get a bunch of Ethereum nerds to make like a token. They then give said token. They then get the money to fundraise. Then they get that on Coinbase through all their connections, dump it into the open market, recoup that plus a little bit more. And it's just like how they build their Bitcoin stack. It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that the Gensler hasn't like come out and like stopped it, but they'll keep doing it until somebody like, even if they do get like a speeding ticket, what are they going to, what is it going to be like? What,
right.
$2 million speeding ticket? Like amass the millions they, so it literally is just a speeding ticket to them. That's how they see it. The only reason I know that is because I used to work in the crypto space. That's how they look at it. They look at it like speeding tickets. It's a speeding ticket. So they make 20 million and they get a $1 million speeding ticket from the SEC. Big fucking deal, you know? I don't know why I'm cursing today. Work on that.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Car.
Yeah.
I'm toning it down. I'm toning it down for this podcast, and here you are.
You're toning it down?
Yeah, dropping the F-bomb every 2 seconds.
Nah, I don't mean to. Did you ever get into me and you talk about films all the time. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get into Stanley Kubrick?
Oh yeah, I love his films.
He said a couple things that I was looking into. What do you think about this? He said, however vast the darkness, we must supply our own light. That's my job as a filmmaker. I'm going to create some light for myself and hopefully other people will be able to see it too. Do you think that's possible when you're creating something? When you're building something?
Yeah,
do you think that's possible?
Say so, because hard times create strong men. I think right now we are in a very interesting time, and not only in America, but in the world right now with all the markets, politics, the economy, not to get into politics. Yeah, I think that's very relevant for what's going on today.
Yeah. I keep seeing on Twitter, like, they talk about Marvel. You're a big fan of Marvel movies.
I'm not.
I know.
No, fucking not. Don't say that.
I know you're not.
I've only cursed one time that show, but it's for a reason. I did not like Marvel.
I know you don't like Marvel.
Garbage. No.
But don't you think it's weird how you have like these Marvel films that come out now and
oh my God,
what?
I had to cut you off.
No, go for it.
So when I was in Florida, I actually took a girl on a date.
You did?
Yeah.
Like a Florida girl?
Yeah.
Like a Florida Gator girl?
She was a goth girl, but
oh, she was a goth girl.
Anyway,
you're dating goth girls?
No. I'm not. We didn't date, but we went and saw, what was it? The Doctor Strange film.
Is it any good?
Oh my God. It was the worst film I've ever seen. It was hot garbage. It was extremely woke. The story was garbage. There was it was just all CGI. It was terrible.
Dang, dude.
It was horrible.
Gosh.
It was horrible. And that's probably the last Marvel film I'll ever watch.
Dude, it
was so bad, Car.
Dude, it's so interesting how you can. It's that woke component to a lot of the media stuff that we see now in like the world has gotten so like saturated and it's spreading like a disease that you can't even. You can't. Yeah, I ignore it too, but you can't even enjoy like a movie anymore. Like
that said, we did watch a really good movie last
Top
month.
Gun?
No, The Northman.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic,
dude. That was an
awesome movie.
That's a big corner movie.
Yeah,
there was a couple people that didn't like it. I was like, why?
Well, it's
the same director. I mean, we were talking about this director, right? The guy who did The Witch, and then he did Lighthouse.
Oh man, that was also a fantastic film.
Then he did this one. I was like, what did you expect? Of course, it was going to be an amazing flick.
Yeah,
dude, I love that movie. I really do. It's one of my favorites of this year. The other one was Top Gun. Did you see Top Gun?
I did not know.
You look like the guy from Top Gun.
What?
He has the same
hold on
mustache.
A second. Before I started this podcast with you, you said I look like a cop.
Yeah, like you look like you could be in the military too.
No,
but he has the same Tom Selleck mustache in the movie.
You and Kyle, I don't get it.
We're just messing around,
man.
We're not serious. What was I going to tell you though? Oh no, I was going to tell you about that Disney thing. So
Disney thing.
Yeah. So you know how you keep seeing like, what you said, the wokeness and all this stuff to it. Don't you think it's weird? Like when I know for me growing up, maybe it's different for you because you're younger than me, but I remember watching Disney growing up and the bad guys were like witches and like, you know,
I've seen old Disney movies.
Okay. Yeah. So they were like witches or they're just like ghouls or they were monsters.
Yeah. There's no agenda. It was just media.
No. That's one thing. That's definitely one thing. The other thing I'm hitting on is you see it now and all these bad guys that they're now, they look like they're either their parents or their relatives, or it's like their uncles or they're related to them. And that's who the superhero is defeating. Don't you think that's kind of strange?
Yeah, that's not good, dude, because what they're trying to say is that, subliminally. How do you say that word?
Yeah, subliminal.
Yeah, subliminal. The underlying message is, trying to destroy, I think, family values through media like that. And not just with the, enemy kind of stuff, but the overall message and who like the hero is. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I can't even enjoy films nowadays because of the hard push for these messages that I have no interest in. Right. Mm-hmm. Like politically, I'm pretty open-minded, but when it gets to a point where
it's clearly an agenda.
Yeah, it's clearly an agenda, not a piece of art. That's when I start to have issues, Yeah. It's obnoxious. But yeah, I don't think that's something that's going to continue on for the next 20 years because I'm sick of it. And I'm sure the average person is sick of it.
Are other people your age, like the goth girl that you were dating in Florida? Was she woke or was she like...
I mean, we didn't really talk politics, but I mean, I don't really think she had a political ideology, to be honest. But I think a lot of it was just being unaware and the lack of knowledge of what's really going on today behind the curtains. Because for me, I love politics, right?
Yeah.
I love looking, far right, far left, authoritarian, libertarian. I love it all, dude. Like I just started reading The Rise and Fall of Communism, and it's an amazing book so far.
Who's is it new or is it like an older book?
I'm not sure. I found it at a thrift store. But so far it's really good.
Should have took a picture of it and put it on Twitter.
No, but I'll bring it someday. But I bring that up because
what is it about, or like how far have you got into like a chapter?
I just started reading it last night.
Okay.
I'm only like 20 pages in. I
cool.
had to go to bed because I was tired, but I bring that up because people my age have no ideology that they stand with. Because if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, and that's an issue. Which is why being educated on politics alone, economically or socially, at least economically, the lack of knowledge of politics really is an issue for people my age, because if you don't know what's going on in the world and you don't know how to make decisions based off of this climate, it's going to affect you and your family. That's a fact. But, with that said, it gets to a point where you can't be too aware of what's going on, because then it's like daunting, like, oh my God, like this is really happening behind the curtains and no one knows about it. So don't let it get to you. But I like to read online and offline about these kinds of things, because I want to make decisions that are much more informed that the average person doesn't know about.
Yeah, I've been seeing that too. Like, I think you're right. I think there's definitely a group of people that, we classify as normies in the Bitcoin space that I wouldn't say they're necessarily doing anything along or according to the agenda. They're just more like misinformed, right? Like they're
and you can't blame them.
Yeah, you can't blame them. Like they're literally reading their local newspaper, their CNN, their Fox News, their NBC.
I don't even watch the news, dude.
But you know what I mean? Like these people, and then they're seeing it on TikTok or Instagram, and they're celebrities that they like and that are also saying the same thing. So it's like it's a whole mass, psychosis that's going on. And then you have people that are like us who you see it all the time. We'll be at Meteor, we'll be at some meetup, and the barista or whoever it is will literally say like, oh, are you guys celebrating a birthday party? Like, what's going on here? We're like, no, this is just a Bitcoiner event. This is what we do. And it's like every type of person you can think of under the sun. And
that's the nice thing about it, is that there's no political divide between this, because we all have the same goal in mind, I would assume. But it's nice to see that. I would say Bitcoin is politically blind, if that makes any sense. As cheesy as that sounds,
it could be sauced up a little bit.
Yeah, sauce it up, Car.
I don't know the right context how to say that. For me, I just really go back to like the whole thing that's in the space where everybody talks about it. It's just like fix the money, and the world will be fixed too as well.
That's another thing, is that when you read about politics, you start to get into history and vice versa, and a lot of history is about banks, really, at the end of the day.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, I shouldn't get into it. But
what are you going to get into?
There's a book called The History of the Central Banking System.
Okay.
And it gets really in depth on how enthralled the banking system is with controlling politics on both sides. And, ultimately, if you can't control the money of a nation, money and two other things, but if you can't control the money of a nation, then it's bound to either become corrupt and or fail. For example, Rome. Sure, the Germans defeated them in the last, tail end of their reign, but a lot of it was because of the banking system they had. And it gets really deep really fast. It would have to be a whole podcast about...
Let's do it. Let's just talk about... Yeah, let's do it. Who cares? I mean, we're here till... We got another 25 minutes before we have to get out of here. Tell me more.
All right, I'll give the gist of it. I'll give a sliver of it. But you look throughout history, and the same group of people have always controlled the banking system. And it's not just these, small rich families that do it. It's like, the elite, that do it. And people that have tried to stand up against them are, shot down, on both left and right. Like they're killed. Like, for example, JFK.
You think that he was doing that?
100%. The reason why he was killed, I think, one of the reasons why, besides defunding the CIA, is he tried to take back our currency from the Federal Reserve. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look it up.
Like an Amazon documentary, or is that like a YouTube
it's just
thing?
You just read about it. But he actually tried to get the dollar and take the printing power away from the Federal Reserve and put it back onto, I think it was a gold standard. I could be wrong. It wasn't a gold standard, but regardless, what he tried to do was take away the printing power from the Federal Reserve, and they hated that. They hated that so much because if you can't control the money of a country, you can't control the narrative. That's ultimately what it is. But that's just seen throughout history multiple times, and you start to notice it, and you look really far into it, and it's amazing what you discover. And it gets to a point where
I think this guy just picked his butt. No, he was pulling out his COVID mask. God, this is why we're not going to make it, Tristan.
Yeah.
Like, why are they still wearing COVID mask?
I don't know, but let me finish this real quick. So it gets to a point where there's only so much you can say in public that, will sound crazy if you do that on camera. So I like to keep quiet about certain things that I know because I will sound crazy and or get canceled. So, because of that, you can't
get canceled. You owe Bitcoin.
Car.
You think you can get canceled?
You can get canceled.
Whoa. Whoa, really?
Yeah. Anyway.
So no, hang on real quick before you go. Do you really believe if you hold Bitcoin, you could still get canceled?
Well, yeah, just because you hold any currency doesn't mean you can't get canceled.
I don't know. That's a spicy take, Tristan. I don't know. We'd like to see what everybody else thinks about that.
All right, well, go ahead.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah. Anyway, so to wrap up what I'm saying, it gets to a point where you know so much about history and what's really going on behind the curtains. You start to see it in everyday life, especially in venture capital. It's getting kind of spooky because.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
For example, Tim Draper's, I think great grandfather or grandfather, one of the two.
Are you sure you want to say this?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it's on Wikipedia.
Okay.
All I'm doing is just regurgitating Wikipedia.
Okay, cool.
His great grandfather.
We'll bring it up right here.
Grandfather.
No, we won't.
Was a part of Yale's Skull and Bones.
What's that? Yale's Skull and Bones.
Yale. As in the college.
Oh, Yale.
Yeah.
Skull.
Yale Skull and Bones.
Like the movie?
No, like a club, Anyway, it's like up there with the Freemasons. So
it's above Freemasons?
No, it's like it's bordering it. Anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
So it's like a secret society.
Yeah, pretty much. But I thought that was interesting because it gets, you have to be aware on whose money you're taking in venture capital because you don't know who's funding their fund, right? Like, for example, BlackRock could be funding this other guy that takes a 20% share of my company, now has a narrative of my company, and now can enforce woke ideologies and all this other stuff, right? So you have to be really careful. It gets deep real fast, and no one talks about this.
So you're saying that?
And I think one day if I talk too loud and I get involved in politics,
well, you're on this show. No one's going to watch this.
No. But listen, I'm talking like 20, 30 years down the line because I most likely plan on running for politics because of the issues. Yeah, probably.
No, president.
Yeah, why not? Trump did it. He did it. He's just a rich guy who had a great, So
you're saying Tristan 2034? Anyway,
no,
would it be 2034? 2024?
Who knows? The legal age to run for president is 35.
It'd be 2036. So Tristan 2030 Beach 2036.
Anyway, so
because you'll be of age by then, right?
Yeah, but back to what I was saying.
You heard it here first. Breaking news. Beach 2036.
It's a maybe. It's a maybe. But
no, I believe you. You've been telling me that since the day I met you.
I think if I start talking to a point where it gets in the way of their agenda, then they're probably going to try to, take me out.
Not with that mustache. There's no way. There's just no way. The mustache will see it coming. He'll pull out a gun and just be like, pew, 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 pew.
Anyway, that's enough about that.
No. I'm not trying to make fun of the thing that you're saying. I tend to believe these days that, sure. Are there, oh my God, this guy's wearing a mask, full on mask. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. I tend to believe these days, yeah. Is there a mass kind of thing going on where it feels like it's very, controlled and there's these things going on? Absolutely. I think you would have to be an idiot not to see these things, right?
Yeah.
I am on the side of like, cool, you're going to go do that. Like, good luck. Being that darkness, being that kind of that vast emptiness for society, that never works. Like it never works because when people see like this beautiful, like illuminating light, and it becomes infectious because us as humans, we gravitate towards the light, we gravitate towards sunshine, we gravitate towards the sun. We are people of the sun, really. Mm-hmm. And I think when you have this darkness over here and like people are going to see that and maybe they'll get swayed into going into it. But I just don't believe over the course of time, people are going to stay away from the light. It's impossible. It's a balance. And I think throughout history, we've always had these kind of, dark versus light forces. And it's always been a thing. It's always been a thing, but it's always been this kind of like thing you have to like, sometimes maybe the darkness is winning and then the light comes back and then the light is winning for a little while. And then the dark comes back. It's always been like that throughout history. And I think it's a lot more simpler than people realize. And I think right now us as Bitcoiners,
it's very complex.
I'm sure you are, but I think it, like for me to wrap my mind around it, I think for me, it's very easy, as simple as like create the light, be that, and hope enough people get on board before it gets really worse.
The truth fears no investigation.
What does that mean?
It means what it says. It's what it sounds like. If something is true.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't fear to be investigated.
Yeah.
Right. So if you start to question things and people you're questioning get angry, that's very suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's going on right now with your president and our president?
Don't get me started. But yeah. I mean, obviously there's someone pulling the strings behind him. That's been every president almost ever. But yeah, for sure.
What are you going to do July 4th, man?
Great switch of topics.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to celebrate your independence.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure yet. I've been trying to get something together. Maybe at the park down by, what's that park over there by the river?
Auditorium Shores.
I'm not sure. Anyway, I was hoping to get people together and maybe like a barbecue and
that'd be cool.
Just watch the fireworks.
I think about doing that Willie Nelson thing.
What?
So Willie Nelson throws he throws like a party every 4th of July. And then he invites his friends, his like people to come play. There's food, there's drinks, there's like arts and crafts and stuff. And it's always a good time. I'm thinking about doing that.
Arts and crafts.
Yeah. it's just like
art feathers and cotton swab. What's going on?
No, it's kind of like face paintings and like that was the thing when we went to Mexico City, dude.
You show up like full Aztec and like
when we went to Mexico City, that was one thing that I really loved about Mexico City is they had this like culture of everybody being outside having fun, just like on a regular day. And me and Logan got some footage of it, but let me see if I can bring it up. But there was this guy who was acting silly, dude. He was so silly. But this is it right here. Let me see if I can play it. But he was like, he was just full on acting like an idiot almost. But like he was putting on a show. See?
Cards like the size of an ant. I can't see anything.
But they were just like dancing and having fun. But I guess he was like a clown or something, putting on a show for everybody. It was cool, dude. It was like,
I'm laughing because it's like really far away from me. It's like, look, Tristan, what I'm trying, what tiny ass guy that's like 20 feet away.
He was orange. That's what drew me to him.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting because like they had like this whole full on park. Imagine Auditorium Shores right there, and it was just like covered of people.
Zilker. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Zilker. Okay, yeah, but it was just like it was covered of people. There were stands. People were selling food. They were selling like face paint. It was full on like village, and there wasn't anything special other than it was just a Sunday. And this is what they do. Like this is a part of their culture. And I was just like, man, dude, that's where we need to get back to, man.
Yeah, man.
Like I feel like we do it here in Austin as Bitcoiners. Like we try to make these events happen and we get people together but man, it's just trying to convince the rest of these people, the people that just walked by with a mask on, trying to get them to understand like, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of, man.
I think at that point, there's no helping these people and you just have to be the leading example and, be so good to the point where people are going to want to follow you. But people like that, you just, you can't help them. They're just so far gone. And mind you, these people are like 30, 32, 35, and they're just unaware. Dude. And like their open-mindedness calcifies after a period of time to the point where you just can't help them. It's sad.
Yeah. Do you know anybody like that that's close to you?
Not really.
No. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think returning to our roots is very important because like for example, I think after I'm like 30, 35, when I do start a family,
2036 beach for president.
Before 2030, I want to get out of here.
Get out of here. What do you mean, like planet Earth?
No,
I'm trying to figure out like what do you
rocket? Come on,
I don't know, dude.
But
maybe Elon's really not bullshitting about
what
this.
I really want to do is actually bring my family to Northern Europe because we're actually talking about it now because I love America. I will always be an American. But to raise children in this country right now is just I don't think ideal because.
Why do you say that for? Like even in a small town?
I think the biggest thing for me is the education system or lack of.
What about just getting
what?
Homeschooled or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think one of the biggest issues in America right now is the lack of education and a lack of a system for education because let's break it down. So what they're teaching, how they're teaching it, and the interactions that they have with teachers. So how they're teaching it is complete garbage. It's just awful. Like there's so much in history alone you could dive into for the rest of your life. And I was actually talking about this with, my father when I met at the Meteor. He brought his kid with him, and he's
a father.
Yeah, a father.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Matt's friend, and he had a kid, and this kid was like 13. And I was talking to him, and because I was really curious about like how the school system is treating him, and he was talking about Roman history and how they were learning it in class. I was like, oh no way! Like Roman history is my favorite period and genre of history. And I was like, well, what did you learn? He's like, oh, we learned about some of the aqueducts and rivers, and that's about it. I was like, are you kidding me? There's so much to Roman history. You could spend an entire lifetime learning half of it. They didn't learn about any of the emperors, wars, battles, military ranks. They didn't cover any of that. So that alone, I think, is a great example of how broken our education system is today. It's such a mess car. And it's such a shame because if we put, 1/20th of our military budget into the education system that was, well built and structured in a way that it was tailored to the individual or a genre at least, I think we would be much, much better off.
I also think too, to your point, I think there's a need to like, this is going to sound really bad. This is going to sound really, no, I'm about to say it. I don't care. There's a need to like, maybe I won't use that word, but there's a need to put certain people in a class and certain people in another class because not everybody is smart, man.
Listen.
Like not everybody is smart.
It has nothing to do with race and everything.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like,
that's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying like, I'm saying as far as like smarts go, there's people that learn in that kind of system where it's like, oh, you could study really good and pass tests and like there's that kind of smart, and then there's another type of smart that's like a creative smart or somebody who like has more of a business mindset.
I know you're not talking about race. I know it has nothing to do with that.
But it's one of those things where like I think you need to put those certain groups in different classes and let them go a different curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think it would help too if they didn't standardize everything. I think if they got rid of tests, I think if you just get rid of tests and you let kids naturally go to where they want to go, like what they want to learn.
Exactly.
And then give them all the help in that particular field. Maybe there's like 7 fields and they get to pick what they want to do.
That's exactly what my parents did with me.
Yeah. And then they just help them, guide them, and give them the best material for that particular field of study. Mm-hmm. I think that way it would also help too. I mean, sure, you want to give like a basic foundation. Maybe that's grades 1 through 3 or something or 1 through 4. But like after the foundation, you should be building them towards whatever they want to be in life. I don't know, man. To me, that sounds crazy to people right now when I say this.
It's not crazy at all. It's because, going back to the standardization thing, is the way academia works right now is you memorize something, pass the test, repeat. It's terrible. There's no fun in that. There's no fun. That's why I hated school so much because, I was a good student and I was like, one of the better ones.
Did you get beat up in school and you told me like you got beat up?
No,
what
never.
Was that?
Never.
What was that? You told me you were like, used to fight people in school or something?
I did jiu-jitsu in high school.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did that for 6 years.
You never showed up in the jiu-jitsu fight.
You didn't show up, you liar. You're a liar. I was waiting for you. I was smoking a cigar on the beach with Kyle. I was like, where's Carr? He's like, I don't know. probably with Marty or some shit.
I had so much.
Dude, it's fine. Anyway, getting back to the point of education.
But did you fight people with jiu-jitsu in school?
I did wrestling and I fought people in wrestling.
Really?
School. Yeah. I actually quit wrestling because the teacher was a prick. But I thoroughly enjoy fighting because it's a test of the individual and it really, really humbles you. It really does.
Getting punched in the face humbles you for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not a matter of, especially in jiu-jitsu, it's not a matter of size. It's about a matter of experience. Like I've seen some of the skinniest, shortest people beat up a 6'4", 250 pound muscular dude. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's a metaphor for how it's like chess, right? Ultimately, it's what it's like because you can be, skinny, you can be short. It's the short guys you got to watch out for, by the way. It doesn't matter as long as you know the tactics and the strategies and how to take someone down and put them into a submission. That's all that matters.
Dang, dude. Would you ever fight for sats, like jiu-jitsu?
Yeah,
for sats?
that'd be fun. Oh,
like
God.
an actual tournament, though.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't fought in over like a couple of years because I've just been working.
Oh.
But I would love to get back into jiu-jitsu. There's a gym around here called 10th Planet, and supposedly that's where Joe Rogan goes to. So that would be really cool.
Which one? 10th Planet.
10th Planet. Yeah.
Have you been there?
No, I have not. But I would like to get back into it. I would love to get back into it once I'm not so busy with what I'm doing right now.
When are you leaving because you have to go to Drapes, right? You got to go to Drapes
October
University?
3rd to November 2nd.
Oh, so it's not till later in the year.
It's like 3 months away.
Okay, so what are you going to do with are you just going to leave everything here and then go and then come back or?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have somebody, help me out with that. But anyway.
You could probably like sublease it to Bitcoiner that's listening.
No, we'll figure it out. Anyway, back to the education part. Because I really want to talk about this. And, we can talk about how it's broken, but going back to your point, catering specific curriculums to certain individuals that helps them instead of, combats them would be fantastic because obviously I'm not a musician and I'm not going to take or have any interest in music classes, but they made me do it because, let's just try it out. Like I had no interest. Like I played the French horn.
You're terrible.
It was horrible. I was the worst player out of everybody. But I thrive in math and business, like that's something I love doing, but it's not offensive to bring up that idea because everyone's different. And, someone's going to be better at something else than another guy. It just makes total sense.
Everybody's truly
different jobs, different industries.
Truly unique, man.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing that most people don't realize is the more and more people that you run into throughout your life, the more you realize everybody's really unique and have a very unique set of skills.
Yeah.
Whether they double down on them and actually use them in their life is one thing, but everybody has those special abilities within themselves to actually see it and to use it. But do they do it? Sometimes not. Sometimes they're
because school tells them like, oh, you're a failure. Like, oh, you know, amount to anything just because you got F's in your test. Like, no, it doesn't mean anything. Like, for example, my little brother almost failed out of high school because he did not enjoy it whatsoever. But he's a fantastic musician. He can play any instrument. He plays like 20 instruments and he's amazing.
You're telling me, right?
He's amazing.
You're saying like he's like kind of like Kyle, that he's like a nomad or something?
That's what he wants to do. Yeah, he wants to live in a van. But we'll get into that later. It's just that alone goes to show you that school is not a determining factor in success. Because I think, you know, the A students always work for somebody else. The B students are the managers. The C students are the people that own the business. And the D students are the guys who built the building. You know, that's usually how it goes.
Dang, dude.
It's usually how it is.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why I didn't go to college, is because in my junior year, I realized I fucking hate school. Oh my God, I hate school.
Really?
Because I was so done with it. And, you know, there was just political agendas and shit I didn't want to learn. And, you know, all this other just bullshit.
I couldn't imagine like a little bass Tristan like going to class.
I didn't talk for an entire year. Yeah. I would show up to class. I would never take my headphones out and I would sit there. All class, every class. I didn't talk to anybody. It was terrible. I fucking hated it. And I was like begging my parents to let me drop out. They're like, no, I need to get a degree. And for high school, I was like, fuck. So for an entire year, I did nothing. It was terrible.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. So after that, I realized, okay, I hate school. Because at the time I was reading about these entrepreneurs like Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, and, you know, Jeff Bezos and all those, you know, people. You notice a pattern when you read about business history, and that most of these founders, they either dropped out of college or didn't go entirely. And with that thinking in mind, because I wanted to be, a founder of a company, because I knew I would ever since I was a kid, I was like, okay, if these guys didn't go and they're doing just fine, why should I go? So with that in mind, I did not go. And I'm really glad I didn't. I'm really glad I didn't, because would I have gone, I would be a totally different person.
Yeah, you've been working for IBM.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Integrating their blockchain solution.
They actually do want to do that with the vaccine stuff today.
What do you mean?
With the COVID vaccine stuff.
What do they want to do?
Put that information on a blockchain.
You mean like a database?
Anyway, so I didn't go to college, and I just, do not regret it whatsoever, because I'm not in debt. I'm pretty well off. And I think experience triumphs a degree any day, because just because you're certified in something doesn't mean you're actually qualified, because I've had some certified idiots and oh my God, they're just not qualified to do the job at all.
That's what I like about Bitcoin, man. It really just is about proof of work. It's like, what have you done? What have you done lately for Bitcoin? And
I mean, that can
only take you so far, right? You get people like Eric Voorhees and some of these old guys who have ended up, they were Bitcoiners and then they turned into shitcoiners, and now they're like big shitcoiners. And it's like, when was the last time we've done anything for Bitcoin, Eric Voorhees? It's kind of one of those.
That's one thing I like about the Bitcoin industry, is that
it's just about proof of work.
This is a good and bad thing. Is that the bad thing is that there's no need for prior experience. And that can let in a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I'm here to make a quick buck. But it's also a great thing, because there's no prior experience needed. And because of that, you see a lot of people, like Jack Mallers and like me. Did he go to college?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But because there's no barrier of entry, it lets in a lot of people who do have great ideas into the space to allow change for this industry, which is great. Albeit that's a small minority of people, that's all you really need. Because no matter what you do, the minority who are successful are always going to cater and help the majority of people. It's just always how it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
I always just looked at it like, I want to go make cool shit, but I want to do it under the Bitcoin thing.
Yeah. I really do enjoy this industry a lot. And it's full of great people.
It's funny, right?
And, oh God, it's hilarious. Like,
have you seen any good memes lately?
No, I don't really use social media besides for posting.
Shut up. I've been seeing you post on social media a lot more.
Because it gets traffic.
It gets traffic.
Car, listen. Yeah, I do not use social media. It's detrimental to your mind.
Let me go to you said something the other day I was looking at. I might have retweeted it. No,
I don't use TikTok. I don't use Instagram. I don't use Snapchat.
You don't use TikTok?
I don't use anything.
I thought you had your own TikTok page of like you dancing.
No,
I'm just kidding. Here, let me see if I can find it.
But if it weren't for anything professionally related, I would not use social media whatsoever. That's just excuse me. I just really wouldn't, because I have no interest in it.
What was
the reason for that is because I read a book called The Shallows, and how it affects our minds and our sense of lack of delayed gratification today in today's society. And it's interesting because because everything is so much faster. Well, whether it be social media or getting your food, the way we think is different, the way we write is different, the way we talk is different. It's amazing. It's a really, really good book. It's a very short read.
You should check out this book. I don't know if we had
what's it called?
Vivek on last week on TFTC. You should check out his book. It's called Woke.
Woke Inc. Yeah,
dude, it's really good, dude. I started listening to it this past weekend.
Man, if you want to talk about books, I love talking about books, because I've read.
It's really good.
So many good books in the last couple of years.
I wanted to show you this. Where is it at? Because I had one thing that I wanted to ask you.
Oh yeah. Now we get to questions at the very tail end of this.
I mean, so fine. What was this, Tristan? What was this? What were you doing at Pleb Lab? Was this you?
So if you guys can't see it, it's a picture of his laptop that he doesn't use anymore. And I wrote on an Expo marker, shitcoin laptop. So let me talk about that. So
what was that about?
Let me explain. So before the end of the DrapeRx program, there was pitch day. That was the big deal of it, right?
Yeah.
And in order to be in pitch day, you have to be in Zoom. And in order to use Zoom,
wait, it was at Zoom. It was
on Zoom, unfortunately. Okay. And one of the main features of Zoom they need to have in order to be a part of pitch day is sharing a screen.
Okay.
Right. And I can't because I use a Linux-based operating system. And, you know, with the inability to share my screen, that poses an issue where I can't have my pitch deck in front of people that I really want to get in touch with. So I was trying to find a laptop that would, you know, at least have the ability to share my screen. And I need a laptop that runs Windows. So like 3 days before the pitch, I was really running around trying to find
they're coming.
A laptop.
Here, this is the last story. We got to keep carrying. Hurry.
No, they're fine. So I needed to find a laptop that ran Windows and within 24 hours or like, you know, a couple of days. So that was an issue. So I tried using your laptop, but I remember that I installed a XFCE version of Ubuntu on it and I couldn't run it because it was not only locked, but I didn't have a Windows ISO to bootload on it. So that was annoying. So I was like, fuck. So what I did was I went to Goodwill.
Here they come.
And, you know,
anyway, so why'd you write
Anyway, I bought a Windows laptop from Goodwill for $100 and I think it was worth it.
But why'd you write shitcoin laptop on there?
Because the laptop's a piece of shit. It's a horrible piece of shit. Oh my God.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I was trying to get like why he wrote it on there, but I was just like,
yeah,
I guess it was.
Anyway,
it's a pawn shop laptop. What do you expect?
Bro, that laptop's complete garbage. It belongs in the trash. Honestly, I couldn't even like.
We can't even get the Wi-Fi to work. Okay. Well,
anyway,
thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Okay, bye.
Heaven knows it's got to be this time. I've been used, all lined with trees. Picture me, and then you start watching forever.